Hello everyone, I welcome you to the webinar on open book examinations for engineering studies. This will be an experience sharing session by Dr. Dharmendra Kumar Gupta from University of Petroleum and Energy Studies. Professor Dharmendra Kumar Gupta has earned a PhD in drilling engineering from the University of Petroleum and Energy Studies. He has first-class bachelor degree in mechanical engineering from Pune University and masters in analysis and design of process equipment from NIT Allahabad. He is a professor in UPES since 15 years and has over 25 years of experience in industry and academia. He has served as R&D head at Sara Group of Industry, an MNC manufacturer of oil field equipments, and is a board of studies member at different universities. Since last 10 years, he is organizing and experimenting different type of exam patterns for engineering students, such as open book type exams.
Very good morning to each and everyone. My name is Dharmendra Kumar Gupta. I am professor at University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, that is in Dehradun. Nowadays we are talking about open book examinations. So before this, I would like to share my experience when I started my career in academics. At that time, when anyone who has ever started 20 years before. So when you enter in the class, you are just like a hero because your knowledge is more than the students which are there in the class. Because these students, they have just entered after 12th and you have done your bachelor's or master's at that time 20 years before. So your knowledge is no doubt, your knowledge is more than them. So at that time, you are exposed to number of books due to your qualification, due to exposure. Now, at the time, students were not exposed that much. They have the limited books. They do not have that much resources. So naturally, their knowledge was less than your knowledge. But now, at this time in 2020, not a single person, not a single professor can say my knowledge is better than any XYZ. Not at all. I know personally, as we are in Dehradun, ONGC, right? That's the biggest oil and gas company. I know few people, those are working since last 20 years in one area and still they are not able to say that my knowledge is perfect. I am expert of this area. That's the difference. So nowadays, today, we have to play together. We have to learn together. We have to create together, right? So the role at that time, the role was the master. You are the expert 20 years before. Now at this time, you are not the expert. You are the facilitator. You are in the supporting role. You have to help our students because the technology, the resources, those are available to you. The same are available to students, right? They can go in the library, they can refer number of books, they have the internet access, they can see the PhDs, they can see what is going on in Australia or in USA or in France. The same type of knowledge they can develop the same way. So at this scenario in 2020, faculty and student, they have to dance together. They can't dance separately. Together they can create something new. So that is the difference that I am seeing. And the question paper that changed. At this time, if you remember 20 years before, you just simple ask, define this, explain this, working principle of this. Simple questions you ask. Because at that time, these are required. Due to of technical enhancement, now you have to play, you have to change the question smartly. So I will share this experience, how we have started this. I have started initially with a group of 2 students that I have given some examination, right? Some class test. Together in a group of 2 students or 3 students, you do together. So purpose is your learning, your education, how you are improving your knowledge. That's the purpose. Now with the new educational policy, what the educational policy, they are giving the flexibility to the student. You can choose this subject, you can choose that subject. 1 year you can in college and next 1 year you can in playground, next 1 year you can in music. So that flexibility is given by this new education policy. But one has to understand flexibility is not in free. Lot of devotion, lot of time you have to pay for that. You have to tune with that. It's not simple. The flexibility you have to pay in terms of your devotion, it is your knowledge gaining, in terms of your level to the international level, that we have to improve that. Now the NAC, national that assessment accreditation body or council, they are giving grades to the institute, right? A plus grade or B or A grade. On the basis of this grading system, the grading is based the education quality, how the institute are developing themselves in terms of quality education, right? So they will get A plus, A, B plus, that grading, and the person those are taking admission, they understand, yes, this is A plus, so we have to take admission. And with this new education policy, they are not differentiating with IITs or government university or private university. The role, the parameters of measuring are same. So everybody has to work together to achieve this new accreditations, new grade, if they wish to survive, if they wish to sustain in this competitive era. Now international universities are also coming in our country, and we have to fight with them. So we have to improve it. Now, how to achieve this outcome-based education? The education is outcome-based education. There should be measurable. How we are measure it, right? How can you measure these outcomes? So initially, the institute had some vision and mission. Vision is I want to be the top university globally in particular this area. But how you will achieve it? So there is mission. These are the steps, we will follow it. We have the world-class facilities in terms of library, in terms of laboratories, in terms of faculty, infrastructure. That way, these are the path. By this path, we can have a vision in a long term. But how to achieve? That's the mission. Then this NAC, they have given some program outcomes. That's like in engineering education. If you are in engineering education, then this PO, program objectives, for a mechanical engineer or computer engineering or civil, any engineering, they must know these 12 skills. These 12 skills are basis of knowledge or your mathematical skill, finally what the ethics, what is your contribution to the environment. So if you see these 12 PO, those are visible on the slide. So these PO, every engineer has to achieve these 12 PO in 4 years course, right? In 4 years, you are learning 35 subjects. For example, in 35 subjects, in one semester, you are able to have 2-3 POs. In next semester, you are able to achieve other POs. In total, in 4 years course, you must have these skills of 12 POs. Then program specific objects. Just like in petroleum engineering, my university, Petroleum University, I am professor of petroleum engineering. So petroleum engineering, you have to understand the reservoir engineering, your drilling engineering, the geology, right? So these are the concepts. So they are program specific. These skills one has to learn at the same time after 4 years. So these are the program specific objectives. Other are the course objectives. If we do not understand this matrix, then you cannot prepare the question paper for open book or conventional. You can't prepare. One, you have to understand, because finally you will be assessed, finally you will be measured, then finally you will have the grading, accreditation system of the university. So as a faculty, one has to understand this vision mission of the university, or the department, or the student, or the faculty, whosoever in the university should be same. You can't say my vision is this. Otherwise, everybody's vision mission should be same to achieve the objective and targets. Then program objectives, then program specific objectives, then course objectives. In a semester, you are learning 4 subjects, right? So that course is one subject is known as the course. So there are 3-4 objectives of that course. So how we are linking these objectives with the program objectives, with the program specific objectives? That way we have to achieve, we have to measure. So how we can frame the questions, right? On the basis of this knowledge, we gain PO, CO, program specific, right? Understanding this, we have to frame the questions. The framing of the question is a very tricky game, right? One has to understand, as your knowledge is more than a student knowledge, of course, but how you are framing this question in a creative manner so as the student it's not easy for a student that Google is everything is available on Google. No boss, Google is not God, right? Google is not God. You can't get everything in Google. Information you can get from the Google, but knowledge you can't get. Otherwise, thousands of engineers are not required in the big companies. Just like in ONGC is in Dehradun, that's why I am giving example of ONGC. Thousands of engineers are there and they are trying to find out the critical solution of the futuristic problem, right? So now in the education system, we have to involve tricky questions, new questions, or how the technology will enhance after 5 years. That type of question we have to include in our question papers. I am giving one example, simple example. Generally for all engineering students, I am giving this example. This is some weight I have. You are seeing the dimension, different dimension, and some load. If this is a plate, I am putting this way, how much load will come? How many stresses are developed on this plate? If I am putting this way, how many stresses will be developed? If I am putting this way, how many stresses will be developed? Now question is tricky. Otherwise in conventional we ask what are the different type of stresses. So we say shear stress, tensile stress, compressive stress, torsional stress, bending stress. So many stresses you can explain, you can define. And the stress strain diagram for the ductile materials, brittle materials that we understand. But as per the Bloom's taxonomy, we have to develop our question papers as per the Bloom's taxonomy. The Bloom's taxonomy is the 6 parameters. 3 parameters are low level of understanding, low level of skill development. So generally these 3, so this is your remember, understand and apply. So these 3 skills are lower level of skills. Remember, understand and apply, right? Just like this, what the stress, because you have gone through it. Now application, what will happen if you are putting this way, what will happen if you are putting this way, what will happen if you are putting this way. Stress is equal to load over area, right? So in these 3 situations, the area is changed. So maximum stress will come when there is a minimum area. When we put this way, so stresses will be more. So now at the other level or the senior level of third year student, when this material, when this plate will fail, under what load this plate will fail, then this is a tricky question, right? How much load is required? If the stresses are developed, more the strength of this material, the manufacturer of this company, they will give all the details. So that is known as the manufacturing catalog. What the shear strength, what the tensile strength, what the yield strength, what the ultimate strength. So these things are there. But this is the load divided by area. So these stresses are coming on the plate. If these stresses developed are more than the yield strength of the material, there will be elongation or dimensional change. Or if this is more than the ultimate strength, this material will fail, right? So these are the tricky questions. So and these are simple, just I am explaining because in first year everybody gone through this concept. If I am coming to petroleum engineering, when this is going drilling engineering to 1 kilometer and there is a pressure and temperature difference, right? So what will be the situation if this is the temperature? What will be the situation of these stresses around the pipe valve? How the stresses will develop, when the pipe will fail, if the material change, if your geometry is changed, if the rocks are of different, if you are different type of bit, right? So we can change. Now other dimension of making the question paper. In a semester, student is learning 4-5 subjects, right? So the faculty should be smart enough to use one subject knowledge and mingle it with other subject knowledge. Just like electrical engineering or thermodynamics or strength of material. So you can use this knowledge, you can mingle this knowledge and you can frame a question. That type of answer is not available in Google, right? So the student will realize, Google is not God. Google had the information only, not the knowledge. Knowledge you have to gain, you have to develop your skills. So as per the Bloom's taxonomy, the 3 understanding first, remember first, second understanding, third is the apply. So these are the low level skill, and 3 other skills are analysis, can be analyzed, and 5th one is to evaluate, right? Critically evaluation. And the last is to create something. If we are able to produce some product, right? So in engineering education in third year and fourth year, they are the minor and major projects. As per PO also, when you see the program objectives, there is how you understand the finance term, how you work in a team. So these type of skill you have to develop. So when you are making a project in third year and fourth year, third year generally we develop a project, minor project, and major project we have more analysis, more software based analysis, more of mathematical modeling, that type of work we do, and that is application based. In some industry how we are doing this, so that way we develop ourselves. And you will be happy to know though, first time our India got 48th rank, first time out of 132 countries as a technical innovation country, technical innovation ranking. Out of 132 countries, our rank is 40. First time we have participated. I'm sure within 4-5 years we will be in top 10, because due to our new education policy, our open book system, we are changing, because as 2 years before or 1 year before, we are not habitual of this type of online education, open book examination. But there is no choice. We don't have any choice. If there is any choice, if students are sitting in their home, we are sitting here, there is no choice. So, marta kya nahi karta, we have to follow. And the technology, thank God the technology is available. So, we have to use the technology. Right? So, now how to assessment, that is very tough and critical. Assessment is tough and critical. If this is MCQ based questions, multi-choice question, then no problem. The MCQ, when you put in this, just like we are following the Blackboard platform, so there is a random numbering of the questions, right? So some students are getting these questions, some students are getting that, so no problem. But in a descriptive type, numerical type, you have to design tough questions, critical questions. And in online open book examination, you generally give 6 hours period or 1 day even. But if this is a complex type of analysis, it hardly matters they are getting 1 day, they can't find a solution in 1 week also. Or if it's high level, master's level, give 6 months. I have given projects to master level students, and when they are searching, sir, this is not available everywhere. Sir, no publication is available. So, on the basis of what is knowledge, what the information is available from this source, this source, this source, then you collect that information, then you have to finally develop your knowledge of particular field. That way you have to enhance yourself. That is what the open book education system and the new academic education policy. Thank you, Prakash.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was a very knowledgeable session. In the interest of time, we will only take one question. So I have a question from Rahul. How to evaluate lab work in open book setup?
Yeah, the university, the Petroleum University, Dehradun University of Petroleum Energy Studies, they have started, right? What be that? We have the demo, we put the demo, and now the same system you can see in your laptop, you can work and you can put the values, you can have the same feeling that you are doing in the lab, same feeling you can experience at your home, right? Putting this value, you will see how the pressure is changing, how the volume is changing, when you are putting these values, how the values. So with the same feeling you can have, and we have developed these sessions for online laboratories also. And these are available in the net also. In the university side, these are available. Anyone can see.
Great, great. So thank you, sir. Thank you. It was an honor having you here with us and share your immense depth knowledge. I hope this was a very helpful session for our participants as well. We will close this session now. So thank you, everyone.